think we're fine. Are you okay, Gary?
Are
I'm
you
ready
okay?
to go.
Gary's
Good.
fine.
I don't
You're
want
fine.
to talk
You know what?
I don't want to talk bookcases. I want to talk Philadelphia
Fine.
football.
Well,
You
this
don't want to talk about
is.
Phillies walk-off wins?
Well, we're going to get to those.
Huh?
So this is Kick Out at 2 Sports Talk with Gary. I'm here with Brian and Gary. So Kyle, take it easy. You got Gary from the get-go. He's here at the beginning. We're not trying to trick you. So just, guys, another Eagles preseason game is in the books. But, I mean, yes, this is important, but these Phillies are really looking good lately. I mean, like, I think Tom McCarthy said it best today. He's like, if the hair on the back of your neck isn't standing up right now, you don't like baseball. Like, these guys are killing it. A walk-off triple last night. Is it last night or the night before?
No, night before.
Night before. Oh, they just mauled the Cardinals last night. They just, just, they were stomping a mud hole in them, walking them dry last night. And then today, to come back from a 4-0 deficit in the ninth inning to win 6-0 after a shore bomb to walk off is crazy.
Also, to do it with 2 outs.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not. I mean, this is why you love baseball, and this is why, like, people wanna cut the schedule back. I don't like cutting the schedule back. I love the idea of 160 games. Like, you're playing 160 games, you're gonna have bad spots, and you have good spots, and so that's it, and, like, that's the part of the season. Like, you get up, you do it again tomorrow, you get up, you do it again tomorrow. So
I, I mean, it
it's
really,
awesome.
I think you've had the Phillies kind of come out a little slow and then really turned it on in like June. And then, in July, or maybe June and July, they really kind of were like, womp womp.
The All-Star game, they were like, before and after the All-Star game, they really, really fell off. They were really struggling. I mean, they were 9 games behind the Braves. They were in and out of the last wild card spot, and then they have a team meeting, I believe it's July 20th. And then they just start pulling it all together, and they acquire Arias. They get 2 pitchers for the bullpen, and they have, just credit to them, they have pulled themselves out of that dive, and their approach to the plate changed across the board. They're taking more pitches. Nobody's going up there looking to just hammer the ball for themselves. Like, they're working like a true lineup that's 1 through 9. And that's the addition of Arias behind Harper it's tremendous. And the impact across the entire lineup is unbelievable, because now, like, Bomb, I've always said it was a 5 or a 6 hitter. He's not a 4 hitter. And now he's in the 5 hole, and you can see, like, he knows he's not going anywhere. He's hitting comfortably. Like, it's all fantastic. And at the same time, you have Aaron Nola. His last 9 starts have been very good. And then you have Andrew Painter last night
Looked really
going
good.
7 innings, 8 strikeouts, 2 runs. Like, that is what his fastball has never been, since his Tommy John surgery. Last night was the fastest fastball he has thrown in 3 years
His
on his
changeup,
last pitch of the game.
his changeup was too fast.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it was crazy. So they went from having the problem was, in the beginning of the year, he was throwing 6 different types of pitches,
yeah,
and it was like Major League 2. He was throwing the Terminator, the Exterminator, the Out-of-Stater, like, all of them. And like, they sent him down and his fastball couldn't pop off. So they sent him down to the minors. They said, "Look, we want you to just throw a changeup. We want you to take a couple of miles an hour off your fastball, and we want you to learn how to start to throw a sweeper." And he has done that, and he is a completely different pitcher since he's come back up. So it's been phenomenal. The guy has frontline talent across the board, and he's really just doing the stuff of pure talent right now, not even experience, nothing. So these type of adjustments, of this type of instant results, really, like Mattingly said last night after the game, he said, if he can continue to string these together, he's going to be a monster. And it's true. So, I really, there's nothing better than great baseball. Having said that, though, the only thing that could be even as good as great baseball is a great Tanner McKee preseason game.
Well, he didn't have much competition by him.
So can we get into this? Is this officially the Tanner McKee game? His coming out game?
yeah, this
But
is going to be the best game he has until he's not an Eagle anymore, for sure. Like, that's going to be his best.
I mean, I think Tanner McKee's your backup quarterback. I think that was established last night.
Yeah, it sounds like Dalton was not really good at all. And,
No.
like, it sounds like it was one of those deals where in practice he looks good, but when he's in the actual game, he looks 38 years old. Dalton looks
Yeah.
like a 38-year-old quarterback who's just, like,
Yeah, he
doesn't
looks
have
he
it
looks
anymore.
washed up.
Yeah, which is fine. I mean, Tanner McKee is just like, keep him on the roster. He knows how to run the offense. Like, if you lose Hurts anyway, your season's probably sunk regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
here's what I say about Andy Dalton. Like, if you put me under center or in a shotgun situation, you put the ball in my hands and my guys aren't open because they're third string receivers, I desperately don't like if somebody hits Andy Dalton hard enough, he will just explode into dust. Like, I don't want to get hit, especially in a preseason game. I don't want to get hit. I just want to cash my paycheck and go home. Like, I am not starting. Like, that's why I'm here. Like, it's an old Daniel Tosh bit, right? Where he's like, oh, you're done being a starting quarterback? What do backups make? $4 to $5 million a year. Okay, I'll do that. Oh, you're not good enough to be a backup, but you can go to the practice squad. What do you get there? $1.2 million a year. Yep, I'm going to do that as well. I don't care. Like, Andy Dalton's just going to be around teams collecting a paycheck and not playing ever. Ever.
Yeah. Because he's played in every system imaginable.
Yeah.
He was really good at being able to convey that offense to the quarterback trying to learn it.
Is Andy Dalton making the 53?
No,
No.
it's Tanner McKee spot, baby.
Yeah.
And Tanner McKee's your backup, and I'm assuming Cole Payton's gonna be your third quarterback then.
Yeah.
Do you think they carry 3 quarterbacks?
Yeah, they're gonna carry 3 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
You think? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And that Cole
Yeah.
Payton, he's like a fun player to watch. I don't know that he'll translate. I don't know if he's big enough, but yeah, it's fun enough. And I think Tanner McKee, for real short term stuff, would be okay to not lose a game for you. Like, if
Yeah.
Jalen had to go out for the second half, like maybe got clocked in the head and they were like, we're just keeping him out just in case. Tanner might be able to string together a couple of drives for you, especially if your starting offensive line looks like the backup offensive line looks in the run game. I think he'd be all
Uh,
right.
I I I was gonna say, Nick, I mean, you could probably play quarterback for a series and run the tush push. I don't want you throwing the ball.
Hey, wait a
But
minute.
it it may not matter because you're right. That running game and that run blocking looks fantastic, and I only hope it carries over into the regular season. And if it does, I cannot wait to see Saquon Barkley have a bounce back year. That running game looks really good. Will Shipley looked really good last night. Your boy Willie Lumpkin looks really good. That whole the run game in general looks good. And I'll tell you what, like, yeah, I got a couple concerns about this team, but Brian, I know it's preseason. I know we have a regular season. I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but they won the Super Bowl 2 years ago because they ran the football and played good defense. I don't know. We'll see what Mannion does with the passing game. I am worried about the passing game, but I'm watching that preseason game last night and just kind of thinking in general, is there a chance to me that if the Eagles have success this year, it reminds you of the 2002 Bucks, which means we're going to ride the defense and we're going to run the ball. And we have a much better quarterback than Brad Johnson because Hurts could hurt you with the arm or the legs. He proved that in the Super Bowl, both Super Bowls, really. But 2 years ago, like, I don't know, for whatever reason, like, I just thought about those '02 Bucks, '02 Eagles, where it's like we're going to ride the defense and run the ball and pick up first downs with our quarterback with the arm or the legs.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see any problem with that, and honestly, I think that the Seahawks showed everybody last year, and, like, the same thing with the Eagles in 2017, like, your wide receiving core, like, you don't have to have the top wide receivers to win a Super Bowl. You really never have had to. We've had more than James Thrash and Todd Bankston, but, like, you know what I mean? Like, they're catching a lot of flack for their wide receivers, but I think I really think that, they're gonna be fine with the receivers. I really do, and, like, they don't have size and all this. I'm like, "Alright," but, like, honestly, they ran a really, really bland passing game over the last few years, even with, even in the Super Bowl year. I think
Yeah.
with Mannion, schematically, there's gonna be guys that are just gonna be open. And I think it's gonna be perfectly fine. I think that they have enough talent and volume of talent at the receiver position to be okay. I mean, Drew Goddard is still a really good tight end. He really is. So, I just look at it as I'm perfectly okay with the way their offense is and the passing offense. Now, I think the best part is that with Barkley, you still have that option to be like, okay, look, if we're just gonna run the ball 30 times, I think that Tank Bigsby is gonna have impactful year too this year. Like
Yeah.
I think you're gonna see them carve out a role where he's touching the ball about 10 times a game. So and the offensive line, all the reports coming out of the camp this year, the offensive line and the depth of the offensive line has looked really good. I think Jurgens aside, Jurgens has not had I don't know if it's Jurgens or yeah, Dickerson. But Dickerson has not had a good camp. His health has not been good. But with that being said, the two backup guards have had a phenomenal camp.
Yeah.
And Drew Kendall.
They
So, looking
call
at that, I might
Jalen Carter called Willie Lampkin a bowling ball of knives coming at you. Like I don't even like I can't even picture what that is in my brain, but I know it's rough. And I know
yeah.
nobody wants that
Yeah.
running full speed at them on a football field.
So
You
I
just
think
don't
And
it's
want that.
that's
kind of
a
funny,
and
like
that's a defensive tackle. That's the highest paid defensive tackle in the league saying that, by the way.
yeah. And
Right.
so I kind of look like the problems that you're looking at, your answers you already have internally, which is a great position to be in heading into the season, you know? And so, like, I just don't I just think it's really fascinating. I think they're really, really I think they're in a really good spot. I
And
really
so
do.
like
And you don't even know.
at the end of last season, you find yourself in an opposite opinion than right now. Like at the end of last season, you were like, how the hell are we going to go into next season with this offensive line?
Yeah,
And all of a sudden, you see that Kendall and Lampkin and Bell and Fred Johnson, and you're like, oh, we have like an entire offensive line sitting behind this offensive
Yeah.
line. That like,
mhm,
okay,
yeah.
Yeah.
And
all
that's not
right,
even talking about Bell, you know what I mean? Like, Bell
yeah,
had a really good game last night too. All of them
great
had
game.
like
They're they're
Lampkin,
they're
Kendall, and Bell all had great games. All
not
had
only
really
is
good games, and
their technique is good,
yeah,
and they're treating second and third string players the way a starter would treat a second and third string player. You know what I
right,
mean? Like like Lampkin is blocking defensive linemen back into linebackers, like almost every play, every running plays.
yeah,
So like, eh, is he going to be able to do that every play against starting defensive tackles in this league? No, no, he probably won't. He's still a smaller guy, but it means he's going to be able to hold his own, and
yeah.
and that's really what you
Yeah.
need with you need your offensive line to hold their own in the trenches, and then your running backs can figure it out because the running backs look really dynamic.
Yeah.
It's
You
kind
need
of go ahead, Gary.
yeah, you need depth on the O line. They have depth on the O line. There's other positions where they're lacking depth, and we'll get to that. But yeah, no, I mean the O line looks really good now. Brian, you mentioned about that Dallas Goddard. I hope he has a great year because I am not encouraged at all so far. And I know it's only camp and we haven't played a regular season game, but
Gents, I'll be back
your
in two
second round
minutes.
pick
Sorry,
at tight
Gary. I'll be
end,
back in 2 minutes.
Oh
no
boy,
problem.
look,
Yeah.
Nick
Your
stormed off.
your second round pick, Brian, your tight end.
Mhm.
There's not even anything out of camp that's been positive with this kid. Like, I don't think he can separate. I think he's really struggling. I'm not gonna say he's a bust, obviously. I want to see the kid play and maybe Mannion will, scheme him open, whatever. But like a lot of times with those rookies, you hear things out of camp, like, like Deshaun Jackson made great catches today. LaShawn McCoy looked explosive. And I know I'm saying some Eagle greats here, but like there's nothing really with the second round pick that gets me encouraged, and then we'll see with Lemon when he's healthy. I mean, for me, the offense you have to have they need a receiver to step up opposite Devontae Smith. So
Right.
yeah,
So the local media this week, his name came up, Sowers, right? Sowers,
yeah, yeah. Eli Sowers.
and so it apparently the impression is that this is essentially a developmental year for him. That don't expect anything much from him, and that he is really struggling. But the skill set and his hands and his explosiveness and all that stuff, it's there, but
Yeah,
he's just really struggling on the development. And so, more or less expect this to be a developmental year for him, where you're not really gonna see him providing a lot of impact on the field. Which I'm like, "Okay, if you guys are that confident in him,
Yeah.
that's okay, alright," you know what I mean? But I'm like, he's a second round pick, so at some point, you're gonna have to expect
Yeah.
something out of him, right? Um, I think that that's probably fine. Going back to it, though, just one more point on the offensive line. The thing that one of the small storylines in the offseason that I really thought of that, I thought might blow up in their face is that the new O-line coach that they hired,
Mm.
he, like, he was just out there. He wasn't they didn't bring him in from anybody from another team, and he had a history where he had some really good O-lines, and then the O-line in Minnesota he had was awful. Like,
Yeah.
he was the coach of that O-line in that playoff game where they gave up, like, 12 sacks to the Rams. I don't know if you remember that a few years ago. Like, it was, like, a ton of sacks, and it was, like, embarrassingly bad. Like, he was the O-line coach, then, and then I think they fired him after that. And so that's where I wanna say that was his last job as an O-line coach. But to hear all these reports that are coming out with these guys looking as good as they are, because they're young guys, they're not veteran guys, like,
Right.
and they're holding their own and being impactful. Like, that's really, really great. I mean, it's a really positive spin to hear. And so you're like, you find it to be like, okay, like that's also good, that maybe like this guy is an O-line coach is a lot better than just like hit or miss from what
Oh,
insiders in the league thought he was.
yeah, it definitely seems like they bought into him, and I love the fact that at least, and I hope I see it more in the regular season, where they are under center and they are running the ball north south,
Yeah.
right? And they just it's north south. We're gonna punch you in the mouth. We're coming right at you. Nothing fancy. I love seeing that last night, and yeah, I'm really excited to see them once the games count for real and see what Saquon does there. And on the opposite side, I'll say this: like, I do really like this D line against the run. Now, again, we'll see how they look against Washington. And the big test for me is going to be week 3 Monday Night Football at Chicago. If you remember Black Friday, Chicago came into Philly. The Eagles were potentially looking at a 1 or 2 seed. They had it all on the line in a big Black Friday game, and the Bears just ran up and down the field. I mean, the Bears had 2 running backs run for over 100 yards. So, and I think that coach in Chicago is a really good play caller. So to me, the litmus test will be in Chicago, week 3. But now you're paid Jalen Carter, you paid Jordan Davis. I expect that D line to be really good against the run. And they got some depth there. And then hopefully at some point you get Grenard back. Who knows when, but I think he could be impactful if he could just stay healthy on the field. So I feel really good about the Eagles D line, run defense, and obviously running the football. And then for me, I don't know about you guys, but for me, the concern is again, who's going to step up at wide receiver to just kind of be that number 2 wide receiver. Maybe it's Wicks, hope maybe it's Lemon. And then obviously, there's depth on that O line, which I love. There's depth on that D line. Ty Robinson has played well now, 2 games in a row. But the secondary, I'm worried about the depth in the secondary, and hopefully Tariq Woolen is as good as advertised because we've seen him in street clothes. But in training camp, he's been really, really good, supposedly.
Yeah, but Gary, they've played third string guys in both preseason games in that secondary. Like you're looking at Keely Ringo. Keely Ringo's not
Yeah,
a corner. He's a
right,
special teams guy.
right,
Like he looked bad. He had early in the game, he had one pass breakup. He almost picked it. Had he picked that off, we'd be having a different conversation. But he didn't. Like he's
yeah, but
not good enough.
right, and and maybe they'll pick somebody up. I mean, I read something today that maybe just for depth now, Nick, don't go crazy, but we're just talking depth here. They might go back. They might bring in a Dory Jackson as a depth piece. Like my my
So
my thing is
I'm not mad about that, right? Because late in the season, Adoree Jackson like started to pick it up and put it together. Like he started to look
right,
good later in this, probably like the last quarter of the season where it was kind of all but over for us, where we were
right,
just like, oh,
right,
this is not working out. So no, Adoree Jackson looked fine. Like, yeah, bring him in, but you have guys in there that are capable enough. And again, Brian said it last week. If you have to get into your 4th cornerback, you're done. You're done. You have other
right.
Yeah,
problems. It's
yeah,
over.
I
yeah.
I wonder if it's over if you get into the 3rd. Like I said, like God forbid they were to lose Q or even Woolen, but really Q. I mean, and I get it, he's one of the best in the league, but who is like if DeJean's playing safety, I guess you can move him to corner if you really had to in emergency. But to me, like after your two frontline starters, I am concerned there right now.
You know, I mean, I think that that's every. I mean, look, you're in a
No.
position too, though, where like the majority of the rest of the league don't even have the type of high quality starters you have already, right? So, like, that's everybody's concern going into the season. Is like, well, what if we lose our cornerbacks, right? Because it's not like it's a gluttony of great corners out there to begin with, you know. So I think going into it, like, will the drop off be more extreme from Mitchell to a replacement? Absolutely, but
Right.
that's also more of a credit to the talent they have on the roster.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
Brian, I'll say this. I haven't been this excited about an Eagles defensive coordinator since Jim Johnson. Like I really love Vic Fangio. Like I'm a huge Fangio guy. And I'm excited to see again this defense together now for yet another year.
mhm,
Like that, it's like on the offensive side, all we want to see is an offensive coordinator, more than 1 year with Jalen Hurts. But on the flip side, now you have stability in your defense because of your D coordinator. So,
yeah.
I feel good about the defense. Are they going to be number one across the board? I don't know about that, but I feel like this could be a really good defense, and I have so much trust when it comes to Vic Fangio.
Have you
So,
guys have
no,
you guys talked about the Axeman?
no,
I
so that's what I was about to say is that after this game, are you starting to fall more into the idea of Trotter plays ag against the run, Campbell comes in, plays against the pass?
right,
To
Campbell's
follow
a
up on what
better
we were
counter.
talking about last week,
Mhm.
the media asked Fangio this week, "Hey, why did Campbell start preseason game 1?" And Fangio said, "Because last year with him being replaced by Nakobe Dean, he didn't have nearly as many reps on the field. He needs to get in as many reps as possible. He's got a lot of growth that's what he said, end quote. But the impression was afterwards that he still has a lot of experience and growing that he needs to do in order to be a fully recognized version of himself and be impactful.
Yeah.
Rodder also just fits the bill of what Nakobe Dean did, downhill
Yeah.
blitzing linebacker
He
that attacks the line of scrimmage.
he was a monster again yesterday. And again, I keep going back to the old, well, who's he playing against, right? He's playing against backup guys, but what he's doing is reading an offensive line. He's reading and opening a gap in that offensive line that isn't there right now, but is going to be in just a few seconds. And then he's through that line and putting hands on the quarterback. Like that kind of stuff I think translates regardless of who you're playing against. And I want him to do the axe every time he gets in the backfield. Every time there's a tackle for a loss, whether it's a sack, whether it's a running back in the backfield, he hits him in the backfield. I want the axe. I don't care if it's preseason. I don't care. You throw that axe.
You
Oh,
want that ex all the time.
all the time. All
Even like
the time.
even at like he's in Acme, finds out his favorite bread's on sale. He throws the axe.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow. Okay.
He finds a
Okay.
Wow.
can with a dent in it. So SpaghettiOs with a dent. That's discount, baby. That's 50% off, I think.
Throwing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Throw the
All
axe.
right. He's shopping on Temu. He finds everything that he needs.
Right.
He's like, oh great, knock off Jordan. Throws the
Yeah.
axe.
Amazon
Well,
order got there a day early.
you know what, Nick? For the podcast next week, I'll wear my Jeremiah Trotter jersey just for you,
Well, I'll tell you what, Brian
senior.
scored me a Jeremiah Trotter senior game jersey when the Eagles changed jerseys. I guess the team was just like selling off the
Right.
jerseys that the players wear. So they're like
Mhm.
there's extra shoulder area for pads to fit in and stuff. I love that jersey.
All right,
I
here's
love it.
here's here's what I'm gonna say though.
Sounds like Nick's been throwing a couple of axes around.
Look, you're Trotter. He's gonna get more playing time this year. He's looked really good in preseason. I'm a Trotter fan. I think he's a good ball player. But at the end of the day, like Campbell was a first round pick, and probably would have went even higher in the draft. And Trotter was a day 3 pick. Like, just I wouldn't be giving up on Campbell. He's a really good athlete. He's from Alabama. Let's see how it plays out. And you very well might see them both on the field.
Yeah.
Like, Brian and I were talking about the rookie tight end, that I have no confidence in right now. But I have confidence in Campbell, and he's with him and Bond, and we'll just see how it plays out. But like, I'm not, by no means am I burying Jihaad Campbell.
No, no, and you
But
shouldn't, right?
but Nick, you make a great point with no Nakobe Dean there now. With no Nakobe Dean, Campbell he's got to really step up, and it's his time to shine.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I don't want to bury Campbell, but
Mhm.
I actually think the opposite. I think with Zach Bond and Trotter on the field, having Campbell out there as well isn't a bad thing. I mean, it's just like,
No,
right? What's the old line that they all say, but they don't really mean, right? They're great based on the greatness of others, right? But in this case, it's like, yeah, like those guys can go and it gives him a little bit of leeway or takes attention off of him or gets, a more, one of them, Trotter's attracting a tight end chip block on this side. So
right,
Campbell doesn't have to deal with it on this side or vice versa. Right. So I think
right,
I'm not,
yeah,
I'm not dogging Campbell. I get it. He's a first round pick and you have to give him the time to do so. And he's on a rookie contract. So like, yeah, you're just going to let him
right.
figure it out. Now, I had one more instance of nostalgia, but it wasn't like a player's son or anything like that, but it was
Just
another.
and real quick, Nick, just the fact that they spent a first round pick on a linebacker
Yeah,
was a story in
which is
itself.
yeah, it's crazy. So they put a bunch of money into Zach Bond. And then they draft Jihaad Campbell in the first round, which we never did. Like nobody saw that coming. Thought you were
Right.
going to take a linebacker. We were like, no, the Eagles don't do that.
Well, nobody thought he would have been there.
Yeah. So now, did you guys go over the running back situation at all?
Not really, we touched on it a little bit.
So like Will Shipley looked really good again. Like he looked good in the first game, but he looked even better last night. Like just a
Yep.
dog, a downhill runner. I think so when you have like a Saquon Barkley who's like a dynamic player, right? Like he's going to move around. He can go east, west, north, south. Doesn't really matter. Um, Will Shipley looking like north, south, like a hard put your head down and run through a tackle kind of runner is kind of nice. Is there any way they keep 4 running backs on the 52?
I think they keep Carson Steele as a fullback. Carson Steele has to make this team.
That's what I'm talking about. This guy,
Yeah.
I was I was watching him play last night and I was like, he should not be wearing 34. He should be wearing 43 because he looks and plays just like him. And this guy's running around, jumping over people, running so fast along the offensive line, and he's small. The defensive line, they can't see him. They don't even know he's there. He's just behind the offensive lineman. And I thought I was watching Darren Sproles 2.0.
Yeah, well, he's not Aaron Sproles, but what I love is one way he can make this team for sure, if he could do this, is if he could be a really good special teams player. But like, he's not like as big, like you said, Nick. He's not as big as your typical fullback. A man that like he's athletic. He's a good player, man. I would hate to see that. I would love to see him on the 53. And to that, talking about roster management, I guess your punt returner this season again is going to be Britton Covey, but like, why isn't Shipley maybe getting a look at punt returner?
Well, he did a little bit last year, didn't he? But then I think
I
didn't
mean,
he get hurt last year? And then you just kind of fell back on Britton Covey. Listen, Britton Covey's okay at, the kick return. He is
yeah.
not going to be a receiver for the Philadelphia Eagles unless you run on hard times, Daddy. You know what I mean? Like you are not, you're not going to see Britton Covey lining up in a slot to just get destroyed.
Listen, Britton Covey is going to make practice squad. If Carson Steele doesn't make the Eagles, he's not making it to practice squad.
No, he's getting picked up. So that's why I'm asking. Like, I think they should keep 4. And then you have Bigsby and Shipley and Carson Steele. And between Carson Steele and Will Shipley, I think you can get some returns out of them too. So if you run into roster problems, you could see Britton Covey just go away.
The only thing I'll say, Brian, you tell me. Like, I can never, at least in recent times, where they kept 4 running backs on the 53.
I
It's
think
always
that
been 3.
yeah, well, first of all, when you refer to the number 43 on this podcast for me and Gary, we initially always think of Mr. Leonard Dream Weaver.
Yeah, you want to talk about a
Okay,
good fullback play.
okay. You wanna talk
Yes.
about a guy in the backfield. That's number
Yes.
43. I think that what's going on is that Ripley will stay because he offers more versatility and more positions. He's a really good special teamer already. He's a kick returner, and I think that he fills a role like a certain former player who goes by the name of Boston Scott. Come in, he can touch the ball 2 or 3 times, that's it, and
Yeah, I
make an
like it.
explosive play, like, impactful play, changes the pace of the running game, and that's it, and I think that's where his value lies. I don't know in regards to I don't know, I don't think they're gonna keep 4 running backs because if you're keeping 4 running backs there, that means you're taking from somewhere else, and right now, they have a problem at defensive tackle where they have so much talent, like, they are trying to figure out how to keep all of those defensive tackles. So, I think you gotta make a decision one way or another. Maybe he ends up on practice team, but, I'm definitely confident that Shipley's probably your number 3 running back, you
Yeah,
know?
he will be.
Yeah. He's really good hands out of the backfield too, like, I could see them finding a role where he's on the field and he's touching the ball maybe like 2 or 3 times. I really feel like your touches are mostly gonna be around, like, 17 to 22 with Barkley, and you're gonna have about, like, 8 with, Bigsby, and then you'll have, like, probably about 2 or 3 with Ripley, ultimately. I think they're really invested in making sure that that position out of the backfield features a lot of, like, variety in terms of how it can impact the offense, as
And
opposed
I
to last year where it was just, like, line up and run.
And I hope Carson Steele makes the 53, but, like, it might be a case where let's see what he does against the Bengals, right? Like, 'cause he'll
Right.
probably get more playing time against the Bengals, and if he plays well there too, hopefully he makes 53, especially if if they're committed to the run. I like the comparison, Brian, of the Boston Scott and Sproles. Obviously, I think Sproles and Boston Scott were way shiftier and quicker than Carson Steele. Having said that, Carson Steele could run you over. I'm not sure Boston Scott or Sproles would do that.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah, ask a Giants fan, they'll tell you Boston Scott can
He can run you over.
run
he's a
right through
giant killer.
them,
He's a
run
giant
right
killer.
over them, run right through
So
them, dance all over their hearts.
Brian makes a great point. Like, I feel like the the joke's always there that we're like quarterback factory. Like Howie's always bringing these quarterbacks in to get them talked up as a backup quarterback and then ship them off for good draft picks or compensatory picks. And that's not what we're doing. We are a defensive tackle factory because it seems like every other year our third best defensive tackle is a free agent and we let him go and we get a third round pick
Right.
just by not
Yeah,
giving a guy too much money. So after this year, it'll be Moro Ojomo. And in 2 more years, it'll be there's this kid that's out of Levittown that went to Truman High School that looks nice, and then you have the vanilla gorilla back there.
Yeah.
Like there's always going to be so teams are paying our third best defensive tackle, top defensive tackle money, and then we get a third round pick for nothing. Like,
Yeah.
we just didn't sign our third best guy, and all of a sudden now we get like that's why we have draft capital all the time. So like the depth that they're building on this team is just outrageous. I I wish our depth at tight end looked a little better because that's of all the spots on this team, that's my biggest worry. Like I just
yeah.
feel like our
Because
tight ends are the status quo or maybe a little worse.
Brian, you say it all the time. Like I love Dallas Goddard. I'm a huge Goddard fan, but like, he's gonna miss time. He
Yep.
is.
Yeah.
So like, I just don't think like if he misses time, I just don't think you could poo-poo that. Like, you got to have an adequate replacement. Hopefully, Sowers picks it up or whatever. But like, yeah, no, tight end after Goddard is a kind of a problem right now. We're all Goddard's on a 1-year deal. Well, I expect him to sign a 1-year deal next offseason too with the Eagles until this kid proves himself.
I wouldn't be shocked if something were to come up with Goddard, if they signed a veteran tight end and somehow also put Showers on the IR for some reason or another.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't I could see them doing something in that type of situation because I mean, Mitty was saying earlier, Nick, we were talking about it, and then this week, um, the media was saying locally that Bowers, for the most part, will be a developmental pick this year. Like he's
Yeah.
not going to be
So
impactful ultimately.
so
But
my
what's crazy to me, but here's what's crazy to me, guys. Like, what's crazy to me is I was there, like, after they won the Super Bowl and then they played they had the banner night against the Falcons to open up the season, and Wentz wasn't ready yet, so Foles was starting. I mean, I was at the game, I was right in the end zone, and, like, first drive of the game or whenever the Eagles were in the red zone, like, his very first NFL game, Foles is throwing the ball to Dallas Goedert as a rookie. First NFL game. Like, you just had the feeling that the kid was and then I remember when Wentz came back against the Colts. I think his first touchdown of that game and of the season for Wentz was to Dallas Goedert. So you don't get that vibe with the rookie out of Vanderbilt right now.
Yeah, but, I mean, like, everybody's offense though too. Like, that's another thing that probably is impacting your young player development, especially with the receivers, is that everybody's learning the offense. So you can't like turn to somebody and be like, "Hey, I don't understand how do I do this? How do I do that?" Because that the veterans are also trying to figure it out too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like
And
everybody's trying to learn together, and like along with these rookies are they're trying to learn how to be a professional also. Like a very first training camp. So I'm not ready to call any of these guys like us or anything like that, or say, like, "Oh, where's the development?" But I wouldn't be surprised if you don't really see a lot from them, at least early on in the season, right? Like, I could see very much that yeah, that Goddard's gonna miss 4 games, so where's that production gonna be going to then for that position,
correct.
you know? So,
So
no, agreed.
while that goes for Eli Sowers, does that also go for Makai Lemon as well? Like apart from, hamstring injury, things like that, like do you think there's a like almost like a red shirt kind of deal that they're doing right now because these guys have to learn so much in such a short time?
I
I don't think
Go
for
ahead, Brian.
Lemon there is. I don't think for Lemon it's a redshirt year. I think that you're a first round pick, so look, I mean, the roster, you're not carrying 72 players anymore. You're carrying 53 players. So if you're, and those are, it's only a 5-year deal. So you don't get redshirt seasons as a first round draft pick anymore for the most part. I
Yeah.
mean, you look
I
last year, they brought Campbell in, and they expected him to play when they needed him to with Dean out. So I'm not saying Lemon has to produce and be like rookie of the year, but can't be one of those things where, like, well, we'll see what happens in 2027. Like that can't happen.
Yeah, I think Nick, because of the hamstring, right? Hamstrings are tricky, and they just want to make sure he's like fully healthy and good to go. And like Brian, I'm not saying he's going to be rookie of the year, but I think they like him. I think they need him to produce. They expect him to produce. And I don't know. I kind of like the fact that we saw that footage after the draft where the Steelers really wanted him, and the Steelers were probably going to start him opposite like a DK Metcalf, and um, so we'll see how good he is. They need him to be good. Like, imagine if I could say if I said to you guys right now that as soon as Lemon is eligible for an extension, Howie Roseman is going to give him one. That's good news for their future, right? Because that means the Eagles like him, and so, um, yeah, I think they have big plans for Lemon, and we'll see what he does. We'll see how good he is.
Mm. I have one thing that I saw this week that I want to ask the both of you
Uh-oh.
before we wrap up this podcast.
Yes.
So I'm going to give you these groups. I'm going to give you this group of names, and then you tell me about what you think of them. Okay. So the Miko Ryans in Houston, Jim Harbaugh in San Diego, John Harbaugh in New York, Sean McVay, Sean Payton, um, and who was the other one? Andy Reid, and I can't think there was somebody else. I can't remember what the guy's last name is. All of these coaches were listed ahead of Nick Sirianni in terms of the best head coaches currently in the NFL based on NFL media polls. And like so they ultimately had Nick Sirianni as the 10th best head coach in the NFL behind D'Amico Ryans, behind John Harbaugh, behind Jim Harbaugh, behind Sean McVay, behind Sean Payton in Denver. That was on behind Andy Reid. Like I don't know. I have to be honest. I don't think I've ever seen a coach who went to 2 Super Bowls in 3 years, won one of them, has never missed the playoffs, and had this type of just absolute disrespect ever. I really I can't imagine it. Like the only thing I can think of is when the '70s with John Madden, where like the local media at that time like, he was so dominant, but they couldn't beat the Steelers, and so they told him, like, "We couldn't win the big one," and also all the success was coming from Mal Davis, and he was just a puppet. Like, outside of that, I don't think I've ever seen a successful coach in the NFL be, like, dismissed, like, in this way. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
And
It's absolutely crazy.
I don't know
I'm guilty. Go ahead, Nick. Go ahead.
if you
Please
said it on our podcast, Brian, but you had brought up, like, can you wrap your head around the fact that Nick Sirianni went to 2 Super Bowls, won a Super Bowl with an AJ Brown that was problematic, probably from day one. Like AJ Brown, if all the stories are true, and honestly, at this point, where there's smoke, there's fire. So, if the story behind AJ Brown and Hassan Reddick is true, that's a problem. And you lost a major defensive player over AJ Brown. And then you had an AJ Brown that was just dogging it on the field last year, giving up on routes, didn't want to be here, didn't want to be here last year, like taking over the headlines in the offseason. The fact that you have the success that Sirianni has and yet had to deal with all of that nonsense has to put him up at the top of these lists. Like that is crazy.
Yeah, like, I would put him behind Andy Reid, and that's it, and that's only because Andy Reid has had a longer like, his Andy Reid's probably a top 5 coach of all time. But,
Right.
like, if you look at that, like, I can't imagine, like, with Nick Sirianni, there's no like, all of this I think the most ridiculous knock against him in Philadelphia is that he doesn't call the plays. Like, that's the stupidest thing
That's a
I've
bit
ever
Brian, that's a
heard.
big deal. That's a big
It's
deal.
not a big deal. It's very much not a big deal. Like, Bill Parcells didn't call plays. Jimmy Johnson didn't call plays. Don Shula didn't call plays. Like, you know what I mean? Like, John Harbaugh doesn't call plays. Like, these guys, like, the fact of the matter is that you're supposed to get a guy who can design the offense just as well as you have a guy who can design a defense. And your job is to make sure that everybody is pointed in the exact same direction. This whole calling plays situation only came up in the early 2000s because of Mike Holmgren and Bob Lamont, his agent. The idea was that if you let them know that you're going to call the plays, so you can ask for more money and have more control. That's it. And you're not going to hire a guy as the offense coordinator who could come in and do a better job and potentially also be able to replace you. But, like, that's the idea. So the fact of the matter is that he is doing exactly what a head coach should be doing in any sport regardless. Like, he is making sure they are prepared, they're paying attention to detail, they are playing every week, and they are consistent. How el like, everything else does not matter. Who's calling this? What's going on? The fact is that he's doing this as they rotate offensive systems one after the next, after the next, after the next, and
Right.
still continue to win. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Well, Brian, I think you made a good point when you mentioned John Madden and Al Davis. Because Sirianni has made me scratch my head. You guys are probably bigger fans of Sirianni even than me, bigger than me. But you can't argue, like you said, you can't argue with the results, the 2 Super Bowls. But I wonder if, you know, look, the bottom line is Sirianni's also working for Howie Roseman, who I can't believe I'm saying this, but is probably he's a future Hall of Famer as a general manager. And, all three of us have been critical of Howie Roseman in the past. Um, but it is a big deal, to me at least, that he doesn't call plays. I wish they had a play calling kind of head coach, because now you're just rotating offensive coordinators every year. But at the end of the day, you're right. He's made the playoffs. He's been to 2 Super Bowls. Uh, he's won a Super Bowl, and he just yeah, they win. He has his flaws, and the biggest thing is the players do play for him. I mean, they do play for him.
Like, even in the toughest times, you don't hear anonymous leaks coming out of that team. Like, "Oh, the players don't
Yeah.
trust the coach. Oh,
No.
this" like, you just don't. You
No, you
really
don't.
don't. Like, they are locked down, and you never hear any of them really badmouth Sirianni. And for me, I'm like, there's that like, the idea of D'Amico Ryans, come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on. You
I
know what
agree
I'm
with you on that.
saying? Come on. Like, even
Right.
Sean McVay, really? Like, come on. Like,
Yeah.
he is more successful than all of those other coaches in front of him. And
Yeah.
I just look at it as like, he is absolutely like, he deserves his flowers, whether he gets
Yeah.
it
Oh,
now or later.
but you know why
But,
they do that? For
you know,
this. to this right
I
here
know.
because we're talking about it, and
I
you
know.
clicked on it.
I
You
know I
clicked on
did.
it because
I
you
know.
knew he was going to be low on the list. You knew all those guys were going to be above him, and you clicked on it. You got enraged, and now we're talking about it. Or give then
I just don't think it's enough of I don't think it's a national topic. I think he doesn't get the praise nationally that he should get for the type of job that they have. Especially with the national media knowing more than not what's actually going on behind the scenes with the players and in that locker room. Like you would think that he'd be a little more revered both locally and nationally, and he's just not. Like it's
no.
insane. It's insane to me. This
Well,
is
look,
who
I
else do you
mean,
want?
I'm a huge Sean McVay fan. Having said that, I don't think Nick Sirianni's ever lost to Sean McVay.
Yeah. I'm not a big Sean McVay fan either. Like,
No, I
I
am a huge Sean McVay fan.
I like Sean McVay, but I'm like, the guy's not they treat him like he's Joe Gibbs, and I'm like, he's not Joe Gibbs. He's not this offensive genius. It's not that's just not the way he is. He's just a really good coach. But I watched Doug Peterson feed him his lunch, and then you watch Sirianni feed him his lunch. So you're just like, to me, I'm like, he's okay, but
Really, it was
he's not
Jalen Carter
impressive.
and Jordan Davis fed him his lunch. That
And look,
Oh yeah,
I I will admit it. I mean, there is coaches that I would take over Nick Sirianni. Having said that, I've been an Eagles fan my whole life, and only one coach has taken the Eagles to 2 Super Bowls, and that's Nick Sirianni.
right. So who would you take over him?
I would take Sean Payton over him.
Ah, boo.
Like, again,
Boo.
I'm a huge fan of the head coach who's a really good play caller.
Yeah, but he
I
hasn't he's coached twice as long as Sirianni
because
and
then
been
that way
to
you're not
as many Super Bowls.
you're not rotating offensive coordinators.
You're just complaining about the sausage being made at that point. How the sausage is made, you know? That's it.
I'm just,
That's all.
but again,
Yeah.
I would put him probably in the top 5. And again, at the end of the I could say whatever I want to say. At the end of the day, if you're taking him to the playoffs, which he is, and if they're going to the Super Bowl, I'm not going to complain. And
They
Brian, another thing that he does really, really well, and I don't know if it's him or a combination of him and Roseman, but like, you know, somebody's pulling the trigger on, hey, let's go get Fangio or Kellen Moore. Like he hires really good coordinators.
Yep,
Like talking about
well,
Andy Reid, like that was an Andy Reid staple for most of his tenure.
did he hire
yep.
Kevin Patullo?
He was already on the staff, right?
Yeah. I mean, okay, you can say he made a mistake there, but look, I mean, the offensive line was banged up too. I mean, yeah, but he's I mean, Shane Steichen is now a head coach.
Right. But
Yeah.
I'm like, look, you
Kellen
had
Moore is now a head
you
coach.
had 6 consecutive years with 6 different offensive coordinators, so you're gonna
Right.
have a dud every now and
Yeah.
then. You
I
know?
was just
I
I was
just
just stirring the pot. I was just stirring the pot, trying to
He's
get
just trying to
Gary
get those
riled up.
rage clicks.
Yeah.
Trying to get those rage clicks from Gary.
Mhm.
That's
And I mean,
right.
and he's a really I mean, he's a young guy. I mean, it's not it is it crazy to say I'm not even saying this year, but is it crazy to say that Nick Sirianni at least can't take him to another Super Bowl within the next 5 years?
They absolutely can go to a Super Bowl in the next
You
5
know?
years. Yeah, I could see that. I could
And
very much see that.
and yet
Nick's
but
saying
and
this year. Nick's saying he
God
wants to go this year.
God,
Where where's the Super Bowl this year? Vegas?
I don't know. I don't
'Cause
know.
I think the Super Bowl
no,
is in
Super Bowl this year is in LA
oh,
It's a
like, 'cause
soulless
or
'cause
town.
if 'cause if it's
San
in
Francisco, maybe. Yeah,
I'm like, 'cause if the
yeah,
Super Bowl is in Nick's second hometown, Vegas,
yeah,
I got a good chance he's going. Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah.
Like,
So,
I'm probably not gonna go to the game, but I might be in town.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, your face would coincidentally be painted
No,
green.
it's
Yes.
in California this year. It's in San Francisco,
Uh,
I think.
Ah, okay. Alright, well, this was a great chat. So next week, gather up. We'll do our last week's worth of preseason reviews, and then a super terrific happy NFL draft or NFL preview at some point.
yeah, so we're gonna have
Yeah.
to meet twice in a week at that point because we'll meet on Sunday night, and we'll meet again on Friday to preview week 1. So
Well, I
Mm.
think there's a week off though. There's a week off there.
Oh,
well,
there
we
is?
should
Oh,
Yeah,
was it around the holiday?
yeah, because
Oh, they pushed the season back because they're doing it. They're ending the Super Bowl on Valentine's Day this year.
yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're doing a later start this year. Nope, got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So
Fine. Yeah. Well, either way, we'll catch up. We'll at least talk after the next preseason game, and then we will talk before the regular season starts so that Kyle's head doesn't explode and we can really get down and dirty on how the Eagles are going to make out this season and how they're just going back to the big
and
league.
who's gonna make the 53?
And who's going to yeah, we should we'll all get our own rosters figured out.
Okay.
Yeah.
See who we think is on
Yep.
the team.
We also have to start talking about doing reports of El Tujador from Sixers training camp
Yes.
from September.
Yep.
So yes,
And
we need those too.
oh, wait, real quick before we go, do you guys want to talk about the WNBA real quick?
Oh, real quick, I do want to apologize to Elena Deladon. Last week I said I wasn't sure if she was and I'm being serious. I wasn't sure if she was worthy of the Hall of Fame. She's absolutely worthy of the Hall of Fame. I honestly apologize to Elena Deladon. She's a Hall of Famer. Congratulations.
Gary,
Yeah.
is she there right now?
No, but
Oh.
she's worthy of the Hall of Fame.
We had to make sure Gary read his prepared statement before we left. Having said that, Lisa Leslie, not a Hall of Fame here. So
I would debate that, but
I will
I would disagree,
leave it
but
at
that's
that.
for another day.
Yep.
That's for another day.
Can't have a Hall of Fame if you don't have a league. So we'll see if they
She's real quick.
survive another
She
year.
scored 100 points. Lisa Leslie scored 100 points in the first half of a high school basketball game.
Right, but that's high school.
Did you score 100 points in a high school basketball game?
We're gonna say
Could've.
yes. We're gonna say he did. Yes.
Very much could have. I could
Yeah.
have scored 100 points in a women's high school basketball game. It's a good chance. Yeah.
All right, let's end this before we really hit the rails.
See you guys.
Bye, buddy.